Under the category of things that I did not have on my bingo card today, a report came out in the Hollywood Reporter letting us know this, that Louis C.K. is back with Netflix. And two things are happening. One, he's going to be headlining their Netflix is a Joke Fest at the Hollywood Bowl.
And all locks have been removed from his doors.
And he's got one of those, what do you call them? Those virgin locks that you put, chastity belts.
Yeah.
Big ironclad chastity belts to keep them pants up. He's going to have a Netflix special now coming out. They write the following. Said Netflix is getting back into business with Louis C.K. The comedian is headlining a show at the Hollywood Bowl as a part of the streamer's Netflix is a Joke Festival on May 5th, and has got an upcoming comedy special, Ridiculous, which will premiere on the platform this summer. Ridiculous is directed by blah, 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 blah. This marks the first time that Netflix has worked with the comedian since 2017. Oh, what happened in 2017? Oh, yes, that's right. The move appears to mark a turning point for the comedian, who had apparently been exiled from many mainstream comedy spaces following a 2017 New York Times report in which 5 women accused him of sexual misconduct.
A level 4 naughty lister?
Definitely. Maybe a level 5.
Right on the list. Right on the list. All right. How do I feel about this? I don't know. Look, let's start with this. Louis C.K. is hilarious.
Yeah.
He's a hilarious comedian. He is. I mean, that's just the way it is. He was an absolutely hilarious comedian. I used to like him on Parks and Rec too. Now, what also should be known, for those of you who don't remember the story, it was 9 years ago. But when they say sexual misconduct, he did not attack anybody. He did not physically assault anybody. But he did something really pervy. I mean, he would get women in his dressing room or his hotel room, drop trow and play with Willie. Sometimes he would ask their permission to do it. Sometimes he didn't. And even when he didn't ask permission to do it, he admits it was still radically inappropriate because he was a big famous comedian and they were small up and coming comedians, and there was a power imbalance there. And I got to tell you, whenever stuff like this comes up, I'm always torn about how I feel about it. Because listen, I'm not a woman. I have never been cornered by a guy who's in a position like that and made to feel that way. So I can't pretend that I can understand or relate or say it's a big deal or say it's not a big deal. I'm not in a position to do that. And how truly creepy what he did was. But whenever stuff like this comes up and there is a foreshadowing of that person's return, I always have this thought about, is every offense deserving of a career death sentence? Is every offense deserving of a career death sentence? And I'm not telling you what to think. I'm verbalizing what my thoughts are. Okay. That go all over the place here. Because on the one hand, in our society, we have a system. We don't say every offense in our system is equal to another. Therefore, levels of punishment are not all equal to another. You shoplift a pack of gum, you may get a slap on the wrist. You may get a little warning or a fine or probation or something like that. You steal somebody's $100,000 car, you may go to jail for a year or two. You physically assault somebody in the street, you may go to jail for a couple of years. I mean, so we have this scale. Not everything is death sentence. I think about Will Smith, where, I mean, we joke about it and laugh about a lot. What Will Smith did at the Oscars was positively cowardly and disgusting. It was. But does that mean he should never be able to come back and resume his career? I mean, when I think about that situation, it's like, listen, Will Smith got humiliated.
Oh, yeah.
He lost tens of millions of dollars. His lifelong legacy had been whatever. Some people might argue there should have been assault charges to him too. But at some point, don't we say to that, you've paid a lot for what you did. Now it's time for you to learn your lesson from it and hopefully move on and be better as a result of it. I think of another comedian I just went to go see. I just went to go see John Mulaney, who I think is one of the best comedians in the world today, does the voice of Spider-Ham in Into the Spider-Verse. You ever floated through the air when you smell a delicious pie? It's John Mulaney. John Mulaney was a hardcore drug addict, and he hurt people as a result of that, to various degrees. And he went through a lot. He suffered consequences of that a lot. But at some point we say, okay, now be a better person as a result of it and move on. With Louis C.K., this guy, listen, if you and I do something really wrong and really stupid and really humiliating, we can still go to the mall and not have every single eyeball on us looking at us and whispering under their breaths. You and I can still go to McDonald's and not be publicly shamed and humiliated and be the pariah of all of society. You and I will never know what that's like. Hopefully you and I will never do anything as stupid as Louis C.K. did either to deserve it. But Louis C.K. lost his management, lost his friends. By the way, he had a movie that was getting ready to come out, and they canceled his movie. He was the big voice in that Secret Lives as Pets. Lost that gig. He literally lost tens of millions of dollars, became a joke of the entire world, and has lived as a pariah for many years. So my question that I'm asking myself and you is that punishment enough? At this point, 9 years later, should he be allowed to take a crack at coming back? Now, it's totally up to every single one of us as individuals to decide whether or not we can find him funny anymore. It's up to you and me as individuals to decide if we individually feel comfortable watching him do comedy anymore. That's up to each individual person, for sure. But the question I'm asking myself is, after 9 years and everything he lost and all that he self-inflicted suffered, is it enough at this point for a guy who was never convicted or charged with stuff to the best of my remembrance? I could be wrong about that. Was. Is it time to say, listen, I may or may not decide to watch you, but do you, regardless, have the right to go out and try to make a go of it again? And I think that's a worthwhile conversation to have. Or should every offense equal career death sentence? And so, yeah, and I'm not really sure, but I just kind of feel like I was ready to move on with John Mulaney. I'm ready to move on with Will Smith. Am I ready to move on with Louis C.K. in light of the stuff that he did? Maybe. I got to think about it more. I honestly hadn't really thought about it until this whole story broke this morning. But it's an interesting question with how we interact, especially now with Netflix going to be launching this series. Is it going to be this special? Is it going to be a hit on Netflix? Is nobody going to tune into it? I don't know. Anyway, Rob, you saw the headline this morning. Louis C.K. is going to be headlining this fest. He's going to have a new Netflix special. Hasn't had that in 9 years. Should he be given another chance? And are you going to feel comfortable watching? I'm still not sure if I am or not. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, but I don't know. How do you feel about it?
Well, I think it has to do with varying degrees in my mind of what somebody actually did, what their intent was. And for instance, our very belief system, which really in the Western world is Judeo-Christian in nature. It comes out of scripture and the Bible and other religious texts. And a lot of those texts have built into them the idea of forgiveness. And our justice system is based around the idea of if you are convicted of a crime, you are judged by a jury of your peers. And if you are sent to prison for doing something terrible or whatever, and you serve your time and you've paid your debt to society, you should be able to reemerge and move back into that civilization. That's what our justice system really is based around. And I think the same needs to be, I mean, for me, it always comes down to intent. That's why we have different degrees of murder, for instance. Involuntary manslaughter, third, second, and first degree murder. I mean, a lot of it has to do with intent and what you choose to do. I think some people are evil and they should be locked up and you throw away the key. They're psychopathic and there's a pathology there. And if you've infringed on someone else's rights to the point where you've taken their life or you've done truly something horrible to another person, I don't know if I can forgive, me personally. But for someone like Louis C.K., I find it easier in the sense that, I mean, like you said, he wasn't promising, he wasn't raping anyone. He wasn't promising people, if you watch me jerk off, I will make sure you get a role in my next movie. You know, he wasn't doing that kind of manipulation or whatever. So I could probably find it in my heart to forgive, and I'd be curious to see what he's going to do with the rest of his life, because I can't imagine getting up in front of people with all those people knowing what I did. Like the humiliation of that particular act. And I've thought a lot about Will Smith. Like, you can't ever escape that for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That and you not only that, but then you have Will Smith has to listen to, like, him and his wife went on TV and she admitted that she was having an affair with one of his son's friends. And that's, you have sympathy for that, could have driven you. And then Chris Rock making fun of you forever. I mean,
self-inflicted wounds.
Self-inflicted wounds, but you're going to live through that personal purgatory forever. And I would rather believe that, look, Will Smith is a talented guy. I would like to see Will Smith performances later on in life. I'd like to see him and see what he has to offer, because I do think he has something to offer humanity. And I would like to think that he's been through the tortures of the damned, self-inflicted as they were. But man, I would have gone and lived in a rock for, I don't know if I could have ever come back from that. I mean, me personally, if I had lost control that way, I don't know if I could ever live with myself. So I think I'd like to believe that it is better to forgive people and give them a second chance. But then, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, or shame on me. But only one chance.
You know, I don't know if this should have any bearing on it or not. Maybe it should, maybe it shouldn't. One of the things to me that makes me feel a little bit more sympathetic is the fact that when confronted with the allegations, the very first thing Louis C.K. did say was, yep, I did that. And he admitted it. He admitted it, came clean. But I don't know, maybe that should mean something, maybe it shouldn't. Maybe my feelings on this will change if any of the women who were in that New York Times article can't come out and say, he got what he deserved, let him move on now. Or maybe not.
Yeah, I think that's important too.
Yeah. So I mean, again, I'm just having the discussion here, guys. I'm not telling you what to think. I'm not even sure what I think about it right now.
I think you brought it up and you did it in a way people need to decide for themselves, you know?
Yeah. So there's two real things. We each have to decide whether or not we feel comfortable watching him again. And then should it go one step further beyond whether I feel comfortable watching him? Should he even be allowed to do it for other people to make that choice? I don't know. It's just interesting. And with a new Netflix special coming out, it's going to bring the question to the forefront. So it's something I think everybody should be having a conversation about. Anyway, whatever you think about all this, guys, I'm sure I said 15 things you disagree with. Totally fine. Whatever you think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.